Hi everyone, today's topic is 3 types of happiness in yoga. According to Bhagavad Gita, there are 3 types of happiness based on qualities. These are Rajasic pleasure, Tamasic pleasure, and Satovic pleasure. Rajasic pleasure is sensory pleasure. It is dopamine-induced excitement. If you see something very nice, you want to get it. If you smell something delicious, you want to eat it. I have a story of a yoga teacher who used to be seeking Rajasic pleasure constantly. This teacher used to be a very successful car salesperson. He became very rich. He bought a couple of massive homes, many expensive cars. He loved food, so he would go to expensive restaurants every night. He had a problem. He had a sinus problem. He had a runny nose, so he would take strong medication to stop the runny nose. This medication was not meant to be taken every day, but he did take every day. Eventually, he lost sense of smell. At that point, he realized that pleasure seeking is not the way to happiness. Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 38 explains about Rajasic pleasure. That happiness comes from contact between the senses and their object, and is at first like nectar, but lasts like poison. Next, Tamasic pleasure, which is impure, lethargic, and dark. For example, Tamasic pleasure is gained from drugs, stealing, gossiping, and damaging other people's reputation. Tamasic pleasure is the lowest form of happiness. It is the joy gained from destruction. Bhagavad Gita says, Tamasic pleasure is delusion from beginning to end, and which arise from laziness, illusion, and ignorance. Last one is Satovic pleasure. It is the purest form of joy. Satovic happiness comes from perseverance. Ashtanga Yoga is a very good example of Satovic happiness. At the beginning, the practice is super hard. If you have ever practiced Ashtanga Yoga, you may find the first class was very difficult. Perhaps it would have been opposite to fun. For me, it was nothing but a torture. My pride was completely destroyed. However, Satovic pleasure is like that. It is like good medicine tastes bitter to the mouth. Let me read Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 37, which at first is like poison, but lasts like nectar. The procedure is very difficult, like poison, but if one is successful in following the regulations, he begins to drink real nectar and enjoys life. So when we feel we are getting knocked down during our yoga practice because it's very hard, we can remind ourselves this is Satovic pleasure, good medicine. It is bitter, it makes us feel uncomfortable. But this is how yoga practice purify our body, mind, and sense organs. It is very much like putting ourselves into a washing machine. Thank you very much for listening. Namaste.